Some habits are not common, but they are also not coincidental. They reveal thought patterns that go beyond normal behavior. They are signs of a rare intelligence, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. They are signs of people chosen to see more deeply and act with more awareness. This content shows the 7 smart habits present in people with high IQ. People who often do not fit into common environments, but carry a valuable perception of themselves, others, and the world. If you recognize yourself in some of these habits, just observe. You don't need to force anything. Clarity will come on its own. Here, we are not talking about magic formulas. We are talking about real attitudes, the habit of reflecting alone, the choice to remain silent, the way of transforming pain into humor. Small actions that actually show a mind that thinks, feels, and perceives in a more refined way. High intelligence is not made of appearances. It is made of silence, observation, and conscious choices. Those who carry this way of thinking generally do not seek recognition, but rather understanding. This content is a space for that. Before we begin, I only ask that you follow the channel. It is a simple way to support this work and ensure that this kind of reflection continues to reach you with clarity and respect. Now let's get to what matters. Perhaps what you call strangeness is just a gift that has yet to be recognized. Talking to oneself is something many people hide as if it were strange. But for the chosen ones, this is natural. It is in this internal dialogue that the mind organizes what it feels, what it thinks, and even what it does not yet fully understand. It is like adjusting an internal compass before making decisions in the external world. This habit is not a sign of confusion. It is clarity in construction. Those with a higher level of intelligence often carry many thoughts at the same time. Talking to oneself or reflecting aloud helps to give shape to what is loose. What is strange to some is mental self-care for the chosen ones. There are those who need advice. The chosen one often already has the answers within themselves. They just need silence, space, and time to listen. Talking to oneself is a way to hear that inner voice which does not shout, but guides. And when the listening is constant, wisdom increases. People with this habit are not trying to escape reality. They are trying to understand it better. They do talk to themselves, yes, but it's not out of loneliness. It's out of connection. They are in tune with their feelings, their beliefs, and their doubts. And this process strengthens their minds with each reflection they make. The internal dialogue helps to process emotions with more balance. It helps to prevent impulsive reactions. By speaking to themselves, the chosen one recognizes what they feel, without relying on external validation. They become their own counselor. This shows a level of emotional maturity that many people only develop over time, or never develop at all. Sometimes this conversation is quick. Other times, it is deep. It can happen in front of a mirror, while walking, or even in thought, in complete silence. The place matters little. What matters is the habit of looking inward before reacting to what is outside. This is a strong trait of spiritual and emotional intelligence. Those who do not understand this behavior might confuse it with distraction, shyness, or even eccentricity. But that is not it. It is just a mind that works with more depth and more layers. The chosen one is not satisfied with shallow answers, so they ask more, including of themselves. There is a natural wisdom in those who listen to themselves. The world today values those who speak loudly, but forgets that those who know how to listen, including their own consciousness, also carry power. The chosen one prefers to understand rather than just react. Therefore, they talk to themselves frequently. This is not weakness, it is strategy. This habit also helps with creativity. Many ideas that seem inspired out of nowhere emerge after an intimate moment of reflection. The brain connects the dots, combines references, and constructs solutions while the internal conversation takes place. Those who cultivate this habit access answers that are not in books or in others, but within themselves. This silent conversation you have with yourself can be one of the greatest sources of balance, direction, and wisdom in your life. Keep cultivating this space. It is valuable, and it says a lot about who you are. Humor, when it comes from someone with high intelligence, is not used to belittle anyone. It appears as a resource for protection and healing. The chosen one knows that life brings heavy moments, and that laughter is often the only thread of lightness amid pain. And for this reason, they use it wisely. Some people think that these individuals are always well, always cheerful. But what many do not see is that behind the smile lies someone who has faced many internal battles. Humor is not meant to hide what they feel, but to prevent them from sinking under everything they feel. It is a way to move forward without getting lost. The chosen ones do not use laughter as an escape. They use it as a bridge. They can transform difficult situations into lessons and often into lighthearted stories. This does not mean that they ignore pain. It means that they have found a more humane way to deal with it. Instead of hardening, they soften the impact with grace and intelligence. This way of laughing at one's own path, one's own failings, and the stumbles of life is a clear sign of maturity. Only those who thoroughly understand what they have lived can look back with a slight smile. It is not mockery, it is acceptance. It is a sensitive way of acknowledging that they have gone through everything and still kept their hearts open. Many times the chosen one's humor appears in unexpected moments. In the midst of tension, they drop a phrase that breaks the atmosphere. In a difficult conversation, they find a subtle way to bring lightness, and everyone around feels it, even if they cannot explain it. It's as if they have a secret button that transforms weight into relief. This ability is not learned from books. It comes from experience. It comes from the accumulation of pains that would have paralyzed them if they had not been redefined. The chosen one chooses to smile, not because everything is fine, but because they have learned that laughing is a way of resisting. It is a type of silent strength that few recognize, but everyone feels. This humor is not about making jokes all the time. Often it appears in the form of subtle comments, clever metaphors, or light and respectful irony. It is not a shield to hide behind, but a tool to make life a little more bearable, for themselves and for others. When a chosen one smiles amid chaos, it is not because they are ignoring pain. It is because they have lived with it, studied it closely, and decided not to let it take control. It is a laughter that says, "I know what hurts, but I will not let that paralyze me." This choice is silent, but profoundly powerful. It is common for these individuals to make others laugh, even when they themselves are in crisis. This can even be misinterpreted. But it is important to understand. The chosen one is not denying the pain. They are offering lightness, even while bleeding inside. And this is an act of generosity that few people recognize. If you have the habit of smiling in the face of difficulty, of helping others with light words while bearing your own weight, understand, this is not weakness. It is a gift. It is emotional intelligence in its purest form. It is sensitivity allied with awareness. And this transforms the environment, heals bonds, and inspires those who are nearby. Loneliness frightens many people, but for those with high intelligence, it is necessary. It is in this silent space that the chosen one recharges. It is not an escape, nor sadness. It is a meeting with oneself. Away from noise, away from pressure, away from the constant need to explain who they are. It is a time to simply be. Being alone for these people does not represent abandonment. It represents reconnection. While many try to fill every space with conversations, screens, and distractions, the chosen one finds comfort in silence. They understand that being with themselves is not a punishment, but a privilege. It is in solitude that they hear what truly matters. The mind of the chosen one is deep and requires pause. They think in multiple layers, feel intensely, and observe details that most ignore. All of this needs time to be processed, and that time is not found in crowded environments. It is in solitude that these ideas mature and organize themselves truly. This choice for solitude also helps protect their energy. The chosen one tends to be empathetic and easily absorbs what happens around them. Being alone at times is a form of protection, not against people, but against excess. They do not isolate themselves out of ego, but for balance, to avoid losing themselves in external voices. Loneliness brings clarity. Away from others' expectations, the chosen one remembers who they are. They listen to their values, rethink their steps, and align their purpose. What may seem like distance to some is actually an internal realignment. It is a way to keep their feet on the ground and their mind at peace. This time alone also awakens creativity. Many of the best ideas arise when there are no distractions. It is in this voluntary silence that the chosen one finds solutions, imagines possibilities, and has their best moments of intuition. It is as if silence opens the space for something higher to manifest. Many confuse this preference for being alone with coldness or shyness. But that is not it. The chosen one does not refuse to connect with others. They just do not need it all the time. They value genuine conversations, deep encounters. And for that, they know they first need to be whole. That is why solitude strengthens them. Those who value their own company do not depend on validation. They may even enjoy being with others, but they do not need it to feel good. This makes them freer. They do not cling to places out of need, nor to people out of fear of being alone. They choose to be with those who add value, not with those who fill a void. This type of quiet intelligence is perceived in the calm way they position themselves. The chosen one does not speak for no reason, nor act on impulse. They prefer to think first, observe, understand. And for that, they need the space that only solitude offers. It is in this space that they build what others merely react to. If you feel the need to be alone every now and then, do not blame yourself. If you take pleasure in silence, in pausing, in distancing yourself from everything for a while, no, this is not a defect. It is a characteristic of those who think more deeply, of those who are not afraid to look within. Valuing solitude is a clear sign of maturity. It is understanding that being alone is not being empty. It is being whole enough not to get lost in the crowd. And those who have this capacity generally see the world with much more clarity than most. One of the greatest qualities of people with high intelligence is the flexibility of thought. They can listen to different ideas without feeling threatened. They know that learning something new does not erase what they already know. It only expands it. The chosen one does not close themselves off. They observe, reflect, and if it makes sense, change direction naturally. This openness is not a sign of indecision. It is a sign of maturity. Rigid people believe that changing one's mind is a weakness. The chosen one, however, understands that insisting on something merely out of pride is a waste of energy. They prefer to grow rather than be right. They prefer to learn rather than win a debate. An open mind does not mean accepting everything. The chosen one has firm values, but they listen, they consider, and even when they disagree, they respect. This makes them more sensible. They do not need to raise their voice to affirm what they think. Their confidence lies in their awareness, not in imposing their views. This posture brings lightness to life. The chosen one does not get stuck in old patterns, just because it has always been that way. They understand that the world changes, people change, and they can change too. This makes them more adaptable, more ready to deal with the unexpected, and freer to continue learning. Those with an open mind are not easily offended. They do not feel attacked by new ideas, because they know that these ideas do not define who they are. This allows them to grow faster because they are willing to question even their own thoughts. They do not protect themselves from doubt. They use doubt as a growth tool. This internal freedom is rare. Most people try to defend fixed truths to feel secure. The chosen one does not need that. They know that the truth is not in shouting, but in listening. That is why they often surprise others. They change their opinions, take a step back, or acknowledge that they may have interpreted something incorrectly. If you tend to listen more than you speak, if you have changed your mind after reflecting calmly, this shows strength, not weakness. An open mind is a sign of emotional intelligence. It is proof that you are not trapped by ego, but committed to evolution. The world needs more people like this. People who know where they stand, but are not afraid to explore new paths. People who do not cling to certainties just to seem firm. People who understand that listening does not diminish anyone. On the contrary, it reveals wisdom. Some people see the world differently. They notice details that go unnoticed by most. A look, a gesture, a pause. Nothing escapes them. The chosen ones with high intelligence have this natural sensitivity. They do not force it. They simply notice. They are attentive, even when they seem distracted. They see beyond the obvious. This perception goes beyond the senses. They pick up on the environment, feel the energy of people, and notice contradictions in what is being said. The tone of voice, the expression on the face, the rhythm of the words, all of this carries messages that they recognize effortlessly. It is as if their antennas are always active. This allows many chosen ones to anticipate situations. They sense when something is wrong even before it happens. Sometimes, they find it difficult to explain why, but they know, they intuit. This sensitivity, when well used, transforms into practical wisdom. It helps in making decisions, avoiding conflicts, and taking better care of relationships. This observation also turns inward. The chosen one perceives their own emotions more clearly. They recognize when they are tired, anxious, or out of balance. They may even feel everything more intensely, but they are not held hostage by it. Just by observing, they learn to manage what they feel better. This ability is not always valued. Often, the chosen one is labeled as overreacting, too sensitive, or complicated. But what seems excessive is, in fact, depth. They see what no one wants to see. And for this reason, they carry responsibilities that few understand. Observing the invisible requires silence, attention, and dedication. That is why many chosen ones prefer to listen rather than speak. They absorb what is happening around them. And when they decide to take a stand, they do so based on something deeper than mere opinion. They speak from real observation. This capacity also fosters empathy. By perceiving nuances, the chosen ones are able to understand what others feel without them saying anything. This makes them more careful with their words and more sensitive in their actions. They do not act automatically. They feel before acting. And this creates more genuine connections. If you feel that you see too much, that you notice what is between the lines, know that this is a gift. It is not about being paranoid or distrustful. It is an advanced form of attention. And attention is one of the greatest forms of intelligence. Few have it. Few can endure it. But the chosen ones carry it with ease. Chosen ones with high intelligence do not deny problems. They feel, recognize the pain, but do not get stuck in it. Their minds work differently. Instead of going in circles around what is wrong, they quickly seek a way out. This attitude is not coldness. It is emotional maturity combined with strategic vision. They understand that complaining does not solve anything. Suffering in silence may relieve for a moment, but it does not transform reality. Therefore, the focus is different. What can be done now? What is under control? This search for solutions is almost automatic. It is a habit, a way of thinking trained by time and by falls. These people have a rare ability to separate what they feel from what needs to be done. They do not ignore their emotions, but they also do not let emotions decide everything. They know that, in moments of crisis, the most valuable thing is clarity. And it is this clarity that they seek to preserve. Even in the face of chaos, the chosen one can remain calm. They may be crumbling inside, but their mind continues to seek direction. This does not mean they do not suffer. It means they have learned not to drown in what they feel. They feel, but choose to act with focus. This practical mentality does not come from luck. It comes from experience. The chosen one has faced enough to understand that pain passes, but decisions remain. And they prefer to use their intelligence to build, even amidst the rubble. It is not about denying the pain, but not making a home in it. Many times these people are seen as too strong. But the truth is that strength came from necessity. They needed to learn to resolve, to move forward, to rebuild. Over time, this turned into a skill. Thinking in solutions became part of their identity. They also help others think differently. When someone can only see what is wrong, the chosen one offers an alternative. Sometimes with a question, sometimes with a simple piece of advice, but always with clarity. Because they have trained this vision inwardly, and now they can expand it outward. Silence is also protection. By staying silent, the chosen one protects themselves from hasty judgments. They gain time to think, feel, and decide more clearly. Instead of reacting in the heat of the moment, they step back. Not to flee, but to reflect. And this helps them make fairer and more conscious decisions. There are moments when silence speaks louder than any word. It conveys security, maturity, and poise. The chosen one knows that what is said without control can hurt, and they know that what is kept with awareness can heal. Therefore, they take care of what they say, and also of what they choose not to say. This ability also improves relationships. Those who know how to listen without interrupting, without judging, create space for real connections. The chosen one listens attentively. They perceive what the other is saying in both words and tone. They understand the moment to be quiet and listen with their heart. And this makes them a more trustworthy friend, partner, or leader. Strategic silence also helps avoid regrets. Many of the hurtful words arise from the rush to react. The chosen one has learned that time brings perspective. And often, after silence, they realize that it wasn't even necessary to say anything, because time takes care of revealing the truth. If you have ever preferred silence instead of arguing, if you have ever held back an answer to avoid making something worse, this is not passivity. It is self-control. It is intelligence. It is a sign that you understand that not everything needs to be said. and that silence often upholds the dignity that words cannot reach. There are people who do not fit into common standards. They think differently, feel more deeply, and notice details that most ignore. Throughout their lives, they may have been questioned, misunderstood, or even discredited. But this does not negate the truth. The way these people see the world is a sign of high intelligence. The habits presented here do not arise by chance. They are silent characteristics, often solitary, but very clear in individuals who operate on another level of perception. Overthinking, seeking silence, laughing at pain, observing small signs, reflecting before speaking. All of this points to a mind that works with more attention and awareness. This way of living requires strength. It is not easy to feel more, perceive more, think more. But it is also on this path that authenticity lies. People with this profile cannot be superficial. They carry depth in everything they do, think, and feel. And this is not a problem. It is a quality that needs to be recognized. Not always will this intelligence be noticed immediately. Many will not understand. Some will try to label or even belittle. But this does not change who you are. Those who carry this type of mind need to first accept themselves, and then learn to use this to their advantage and the advantage of others. If you identified with these habits, you may be starting to better understand your value. You may be seeing that you are not alone, that other people also think, feel, and react similarly. And this is already an important step. Recognizing that your difference has a purpose. Proceed with awareness, without rushing to explain yourself. The intelligence you carry within you is one of the most valuable tools you have. Use it responsibly, with truth, and with presence.